Greetings and welcome back to yet another episode of the Daily Run, and today we are playing as Eve. And this is one of those dailies that I just didn't enjoy very much. It was very tedious, not very strong at all, and I felt like I made some mistakes along the way. And whenever you make mistakes, you maybe get kind of frustrated, you don't want to play the run, but for the sake of completion and because I think it's a bit disingenuous if I just stopped, of course I finished it, even though maybe I wouldn't have if I wasn't recording. So the first thing here is we did get golden bombs, and it's probably what I should have done, most likely, is take a bit more time to explode some more rocks. So then hopefully that would allow us to get there's options item. And there's options item would give us 2 items in every item room, and then we could pick whichever we preferred. And that would then in turn, give us just more options, like the item indicates, to get better items. And maybe a seam or a way to go further than that, or a seam to a very strong run was hidden kind of in those items or the pairs of items, but I'm not sure. So let's just focus on other things that maybe I could have done differently. Up until this point there's really not much I could have done, like I said, differently, except maybe found a crawl space somewhere, which I didn't. But I feel if you rely on finding crawl spaces, you're gonna have a bad time. Just because I try to play the game a bit faster than usual. I still try to blow up rocks here and there with the golden bombs, but I'm not gonna take the time to blow up every single rock on the floor just because I think that would take a lot of time. And I think that's just the issue with my general slow play, because I do take a lot of time, especially against monsters and fighting them. I do take several... I just need my time to kind of dodge around, and I really should, if I want to kind of rank better, should improve my play to a bit faster. So at this point, like I said, I do try to go a bit faster, but it ends up costing me a lot of things, I think, in the end. One unfortunate thing here is that we do have 2 containers but only 1 red heart, but because there's so many red hearts, I kind of regret not picking up the razor blade, but obviously we couldn't have known that there would be so many red hearts. Even so, we are still in a good situation with Tammy's head and some damage ups, and Squeezy at this point. I think this floor has gone actually rather well. So another thing that maybe we could have done differently here is use the glitch to get to the black market, and that's maybe a way to find the seam. But obviously I don't feel like glitches are a particularly fair thing to do. Well, they are fair because everyone can do it, but at the same time they're not intended, I feel, so that's maybe why I rather wouldn't use them in dailies to kind of get a better score, even though, it's just a game. I'm just trying to kind of play it as fair as possible. But at the same time, like I said, I feel like I'm making some major mistakes or decisions. So at this point, I do buy that there's options, but it didn't end up mattering since there's only 1 treasure room, I think, beyond this floor. Maybe if I kind of stuck out, and I think one important thing I could have done just in general to improve my play is definitely stick with not picking up items until the end of the floor. So like in this case, if I didn't go to the item room, I could have gone to the shop and I could have bought there's options, and what would end up happening, I would have 2 items in there. Obviously there's a long shot for this to happen, but if you do that with kinda everything we can, then I think it's a much better situation. So like I always say, or I said multiple times, kind of wait until the end of the floor, then see what you can do. And I think that holds true if you're strong enough, but at the same time, I felt like I wasn't very strong enough, and like I said, I was maybe a bit exhausted, so that's why I didn't really think about it too much. Here, the devil deal just wasn't very good, and here's the same principle again, Maybe if I did find the second secret room, I would be able to get the Pertra rune first, and that would then allow me to take it into devil deal and maybe re-roll it into a better item, maybe a shovel or anything like that. But because I did go to the boss fights first, things ended up being a bit different for me. So at this point, there's not really much I could have... I don't see how I could have done anything differently. And the problem here on the last floor is, like I said, maybe there's a possibility of me breaking the run here. But because I only had 1 minute to catch boss rush, and I felt like that was more important at that time, that's why I decided to do. Because I think just getting 4,500 points is more important than a possibility of breaking the run and getting further, because it wasn't guaranteed. So maybe if I had like 1 piece of the puzzle to kind of break the run, then okay, maybe I would have done it. But as it was now, I don't think I could have done much differently. So like I said, definitely one of my biggest mistakes is not exploring the floor or the secret room, second secret rooms, things like that, before going to my boss fight, because like I said, 2 or 3 of those situations I've made today could have ended up making up a big of a difference in the end, I think. So I'm really interested. Maybe one day I'll replay this daily just to see if they turn out different, if I do buy that there's options, or if I do save the Pertro for my Devil deal. But then again, you know, those things are very nitpicky, so to say. So it's very luck dependent, not luck, but very player dependent if they're gonna go to their secret room first, just by nature of how they play. And of course those players will have the advantage in some situations, and players who don't do it will have advantage in others. But at the same time, like I said, I think there are a few objective things we could have done better in order to improve our score a little bit. And as it stands, like I said, I wasn't very strong at all on this run, so things are kind of looking bad for us in the fact that we did get hit like a million times on this boss rush, at least. Even though we do have the cube of meat, we aren't really able to utilize it against most of these bosses just because they move so much. And Tammy's head isn't too that big of a help to us because it does a very minuscule amount of damage, especially against certain bosses that have a lot of HP. So it's like, you know, it's not really too good for us, but at the same time, you know, what can you do? Some dailies are just gonna be bad. I really didn't appreciate the fact that also this was a champion variation boss rush, so that is kind of unfortunate at the same time. But we did finish the run at least, so I have that to say for myself. I did come to the end, picked up the trophy, and we did rank 270th, which is very suboptimal. And of course, since this is later than usual, I don't expect us to drop by a lot, but still, you know, obviously we'll drop by some. With 20,000 points, that's a very sub-average run, and I hope that next time we'll be able to do a bit better. We did learn a few things. Maybe I should pay more attention to in which order I kind of tackle things in, and that I hope will help us, or me, or you, or both of us, or all of us who are watching, with the dailies yet to come. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you next time.